First, I'll start with a quick overview of TTC and Tricentis. Then I'll be going through the apps in LiveCompare that will help your organization bring new SAP features to production faster and with a higher level of quality. Finally, we'll be joined by a moderator, and we'll have about a 5-minute question and answer period. Here's our agenda, as I've already mentioned. Let's kick off to the next slide. First, I'll give a little introduction of TTC and Tricentis. I know Austin just talked about both TTC and Tricentis at his keynote about an hour ago. So I'll probably go through those slides pretty quickly. Just a highlight is that TTC and Tricentis have a long partnership of over 10 years of delivering quality customer implementations. In addition, TTC has been helping to develop AI solutions for Tricentis using our development team here in Auckland over the last few years. This is the same slide that Austin showed earlier. This is just who we are. There's some of our founders there. Let's see. Moving on to some of our customers here in New Zealand and around the world. Let's see here. Tricentis is the company that it produced LiveCompare, and they launched an alliance with SAP recently. So with this, they are now tied into SAP very closely. And now we'll jump into a LiveCompare overview. We've heard this morning from some of the speakers about how change is coming faster in the SAP world. Here's a quote from one of the SAP founders. There's only one way forward. Update as quickly as we can. We have to accelerate the speed of innovation, not slower, much faster release changes. So with that in mind, our testing target is moving faster. And we understand that our customers need to get more efficient about their releases and speed up their process and improve the quality. The challenges are that when things speed up in the environment that's already stretched, the complexity of business applications increases at the same time. The speed and scale of changes from SAP is going up. Our business users, who in many cases are already challenged to keep up, will need to tackle more. Meanwhile, they need to get away from testing and back to being business users. LiveCompare helps with this. So this is the pipeline for SAP using the Tricentis toolset. Our customers are using this to bring change into their environments faster and with higher quality. The LiveCompare apps are already helping customers with higher quality. The Code Quality app checks code against industry standard metrics and flags anything that needs investigation. That's over here in this second box, the custom code quality. That's one of the apps in LiveCompare. LiveCompare Smart Impact identifies what's changing and shows most at risk business functions from a given change set. Whoops. There we go. So here's how testing was without impact analysis. You used to have to test everything that was critical to your business operations because you didn't know exactly what was changing. This required a lot of time and resources. Then lately, organizations have been using some form of impact analysis, which allows them to see what's changed. This allows testing to be tailored to just the business functions or process steps that are going to be modified. For example, SAP's BPCA, or Business Process Change Analyzer, allows us to see this. BPCA compares the objects in a transport to the objects in the T-BOM, or technical bill of materials, of the target system, which allows it to report on the business process that's affected by the change. With LiveCompare's Smart Impact, we take this a step further. We now incorporate full usage stats into impact analysis. This lets us determine not just what's changed, but what process steps are most at risk with the changes, which allows us to then know exactly what we need to have tested. This comes from the output of Smart Impact. It shows you what's used and what's impacted, and then what's most at risk from a change. So it lets us really focus in on the things that need to be tested. The way the most at risk is determined is the changes, the objects that are closest to the change are most at risk. So even though, say, VA1 is affected by the change and VA3 is affected by the change, the VA2 will actually be at a depth of 1. So it's an immediate link to where the change is. So if you test down on the VA2, you'll also test the change that's affecting VA1 and VA3. This is the dashboard for the impact analysis, and it shows you the used, impacted, and most at risk. It also identifies what things, this is the chart in the top left, it identifies what of your code is custom versus standard code. And then it shows you on the most at risk, the test hits and gaps. It'll look into your test management tool, find tests that match the objects that are changed for the most at risk, and then show you what tests you have and what tests you need to create. It also shows you of the most at risk objects, which application they're affecting. This is the detail report from the impact, and this will show you the application area, the impacted T-code to test, the number of times the T-code is used in production, and many other things. It also shows you the top user so that you can see who is the most knowledgeable, which business team and which business person is actually using the most at risk change things, so that you can know exactly who you need to go to get these kind of tests done. This is the tree map, which gives you a very high-level overview of your changes. The darker blue is your most at-risk objects. So the benefit of impact analysis is it allows you to perform upgrades more frequently, in less time, and with lower costs, because you can see clearly what needs to be tested, so you can really focus in on that. It eliminates the manual analysis and guesswork of what needs to be tested. Sorry, Dad, I need my phone. The next slide is the integration with the test system. So this goes with your actual test management system. In this example, it's looking into Tosca and showing you which tests are actually there now, and then it creates an execution list from the tests that you have available, and it also will create a list of what tests need to be created. Once you've done your testing, you can then run the test audit, which will show you in green what tests have been run against the most at risk objects, and then in red it'll show you which tests were run that failed, and the gray are objects that have not been tested. Here's the detail for the test audit. So you can really get down to a low level and see actually what changes need to be tested, and really, get the description and see all of the low level details. Then you go into release assurance, and here this is a LiveCompare app that verifies that all of the source and dependent objects are included in the release.
Okay.
So here we are back to the smart pipeline. And we can see that with LiveCompare using code quality, it checks the code against industry standard metrics. And then Smart Impact identifies what changed and the most at-risk business functions that need testing. And this is done by incorporating information from your actual production system and the usage stats of what you're actually doing. Smart Impact also integrates with your test library to show what tests need to be run. It also shows what tests need to be created for full coverage of the most at-risk changes. And then, after the testing is completed, the Test Audit app allows you to go back and review to make sure that what you've covered covers all of the tests that are needed to make sure that you've got through everything that's critical for your business. Finally, the Release Assurance app verifies that all of the code that is included in the change package you plan to release before it goes to production. This allows organizations to increase testing speed by 85%, reduce the testing costs by 30 to 40%, and improved SAP software quality. In addition to the apps that speed your time to production and improve quality, like Code Quality, Smart Impact, Test Audit, and Release Assurance, LiveCompare also offers a suite of other tools, like SAP Security Analysis, for a deeper understanding of your SAP applications and how they are used. Here's the apps that are included by default in LiveCompare. In addition, there is a comprehensive scripting language that allows TTC to create custom apps for your business.